If you have to pay to play, John Belcher will show the way. Hello, my friend, and welcome to Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today, we have John Belcher. John is an individual I have met a couple of times briefly. He works with Ad Skills, and he's a co-founder of that with a good friend of mine, Justin Brook. Now, I've had Justin on the Sales Podcast a while back. We've got to have him back on. But these dudes know how to generate traffic by spending money on traffic, all right? Pay-per-click advertising. And it goes a lot deeper and a lot wider than what you know. The courses they have, and we talk about them in today's episode, are super affordable. If you ever go to my website, you'll see I'm an affiliate of theirs. I highly recommend them. I have paid for the same courses that I recommend. These guys know their stuff. I won't steal all of his thunder, but John, he came from sales. He worked for Google for a while, so he knows how this works from the inside. And these are just, some stand-up guys that create great training that is accessible. It's current. They keep it up to date. These guys are accessible. So get ready to dive in, learn about how to generate traffic on demand, and you will grow your business. Now, once you get that traffic, what are you going to do with it? Once you get visitors, once they're calling, once they're coming to your place of business, how are you going to make that sale? It's one thing to get the marketing. It's another thing to actually make the sale. So check it out, makeeverysale.com. Makeeverysale.com. 41 videos, private group, workbook. These are the exact tips and tricks, strategies, processes that I've used really ever since getting into sales full-time in 97. And I'm still using them today. So not only are they proven, they are current, so they're still relevant. So if you're looking for ideas on how to grow your sales, check that out, makeeverysale.com. Now let's bring on John. John Belcher, the paid traffic guru at Ad Skills. Welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
Hey, Wes, doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Life is good and excited to talk paid traffic with you.
So, did you really go to Notre Dame, man?
I did. I'm one of those people that whenever someone learns that about me, in the first 30 seconds of meeting me, 20% of people like me and 80% of people hate me just because I'm Irish. So I have this love-hate relationship. I grew up Catholic, and a good friend of mine was recruited by them and did not go play there. So I beat him in the head every time I see him. Although he's hard-headed, so it kind of hurts my hand. So I went to grad school at Texas A&M. And that was the 92 season. We were 12-0. We lost in the Cotton Bowl to the Irish. So I don't even know why I'm having you on this show, man. I don't know. It must be the value that you bring. So let's just forget football for a minute because I'm getting in a bad mood. And that's not good. It doesn't do anybody any good. I'm going to kick the dog. The wife will get mad at me. It's just, thanks a lot, man. Okay? You're welcome.
Can we talk paid traffic?
Absolutely. I'd love to. That's my favorite thing to do.
Can't I just be organic? I just want to be myself and people will just find me. Can't I just put out good content and gosh darn it, people will just know how swell I am and visit my site and tell everybody and buy from me over and over again and I'll be rich?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, there's still an opportunity. I won't say SEO is dead. There's still an opportunity to do those things. But I think the biggest thing is from human nature's side, we all like to grow and grow quickly. And so in order to get that kind of instant gratification, paid traffic has become really important. As you know, networks like Facebook, you can't get any organic reach anymore. It's turned into a pay-to-play game. And so what's important is to understand how to efficiently use paid traffic to get more clients. And there's just so much confusion when it comes to paid traffic. One of the things I used to work at Google, and I saw from the inside of, hundreds of advertiser accounts, how much their money was being wasted because they didn't have knowledge of the little things that cause people to, kind of throw their money into the garbage bin. And so that's kind of really what I love to talk with people about, your audience, whether it be, your first time using paid traffic. Most people have already tried something themselves, whether they sign up for Facebook or Google, they tried something and they felt like it didn't work for them. They're just pouring money down the drain. And I hate to see that. So it is pay to play, but I want to make sure you know how to pay for the right stuff and get the customers that you want when you're playing.
So if big companies can't get this right, how can little old me, what chances do I have of getting it right?
I think the biggest thing when it comes to little companies is you actually have a better chance of getting it right. Because, one of the reasons I left Google, I worked at Stryker selling medical equipment and Google selling AdWords. Those are the two things I worked in corporate America. They're two of the top 20 companies to work for. They're massive organizations. But the problem with massive organizations, they take a long time to implement changes. And you actually, as a small business, you have a huge ability to leverage paid traffic. You may not have the same budget, but you can educate yourself and get on the plane that you're actually driving meaningful results very quickly, because you can learn fast, implement quickly, and test things. And I think small businesses have a huge advantage. They just have the ability to be more adaptable.
Yeah, and I've gone back and forth with it. I've hired an intern from your ad skills certification program, or your forum, or what, is that the right word? What should I call it? Job board?
Yeah, so we have a couple. We've got the forum itself is a place where people can come together and talk with media buyers. And then we've got our media buyer match, where you can actually get matched up with someone who's certified in what we do to be able to have them work for you.
Yeah, so I hired on purpose an inexperienced person. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on somebody yet, because I'm still honing my offer, which is changing. So I didn't want to hire a super seasoned person and pay them accordingly, because I'm ironing this out. And so this kid, he's got a full-time job, so he's trying to cut his teeth. And I've been a little patient, but I'm starting to get impatient. But when we do get on the phone, we got on last week for a review, and I had him just answer a few little things, because once we know, like, which 3 buttons to click, which 2 to unclick, and, which ones to never click, I'm like, okay, now I'm boosting stuff like crazy, because I'm confident that I'm at least not wasting money on the wrong button. Like, one thing he told me, deselect the Instagram button, on boosting a Facebook post. I'm like, why is that? And he explained it to me, and, the different sizes or whatever. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I won't waste money. And I'm just doing small stuff, like Dennis Yu says, $1 a day. But at least I'm like, I'm clicking on stuff now. I'm getting a little bit more traffic already, and I'm just getting more comfortable with the offer and whatnot. So can it be that simple?
Yeah, the two things that we focus on when we're getting people started to be successful with paid traffic are what I call the 2 C's: confidence and cash flow. You want to start small. You need to understand where most people go wrong. When you understand that, you now have the opportunity to go in and set things up for yourself. But you're never going to get to the point that you're confident until you're actually seeing some type of positive result. So it's understanding where most people go wrong, getting started just at a very base level. And what I love, something that you talked about, is even if you don't run paid traffic for yourself, if you hire somebody, as long as you have the information about what people should not be doing, it makes you a better interviewer to know who's just spitting BS and who's actually good. And it also gives you a set of expectations, because I'm a professional media buyer. I've personally managed over $5 million of ad spend and consulted on an additional $20 million. If people think that I'm going to come in and have a magic pill, they're crazy. Everything takes time to figure out. What you have to work with is you have to have the right set of expectations and education to help you be confident in what you're doing, and then slowly work, test, and figure out how to build a profitable cash flow from paid traffic. That doesn't happen overnight. So once you get the information, the education to be confident, you start working towards cash flow. And with second, you start to see positive ROI. It's amazing. Everyone in the world that starts to see that actual profit coming from paid traffic wants to take everything they own and dump it in. And so it's exciting when you get to that moment where you help people see, wow, yesterday we just generated 10 grand in sales for a company I just started working with. One day, 10 grand in sales, exciting to see that profit continue to ramp up, because we're doing the right things in that step by step. And so what you talked about, what you just said, is it starts small, and you have to build on each other. It's building blocks. And that's what paid traffic's all about.
All right. So I want to dig deeper in that. But so this $10,000 company, is this a small company? Is it a big company? Are they doing $1 million anyway? And this is just a new avenue?
It's a company that started with a simple product. So something 2 guys designed in their dorm room. And there's a huge need in the market.
Is this a beer funnel? Is that,
no.
I've got one. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
It could be a beer funnel, but it's a little different product than that. No, this is something that it's something that every person in the world that owns a car would need. It's a great tool, and it's something that these kids design in their dorm room. Figured they have a great offer, great product. It has what I call the value SKU. So it's something that what they're selling it for, it's worth far more in the long run because it's helping people save money by not getting, messed with by mechanics. And so that's really where the value in this comes in. And so this is something that, like I said, they're a huge company now, but it's not because it's this massive thing. They had a great offer, great value. They have a great message, and they learned how to go out and market. They depend on people like me for distribution to get their product out in front of a lot of people. So regardless of the size of your current business, if you have something to sell that people want, paid traffic can help.
So, all right, but it can be tough, right? I mean, I can make the argument that everybody wants sales training, but, realistically, they don't. They just want to sell more. They don't want to go through a 7-week or a 30-day or a 1-year coaching program to learn how to get better at sales. They just want to be better at sales. So how much time do you spend with somebody helping them reword or rephrase their offer? Because I know I was a corporate sales guy too for a decade, and the good sales guys that I knew at my company and at other companies, we were always trying to get better. So, it's the 80-20 rule. I mean, 20% of salespeople I'd say out there are looking for sales training. They are looking to get better, but there's a crap ton of sales trainers out there. So how do you help somebody find their voice, to find that hook so that the ad works?
Yeah. So what we really focus on, I'm going to take your answer, I'm going to split it, or your question, split it into a couple pieces. First and foremost, when it comes to any type of marketing, period, you have to have a very in-depth understanding of your customer. And so a lot of people have heard the term customer persona. It's a marketing term that's thrown around a lot. What's really important for us when we talk about customer personas at Ad Skills is a pro persona and an anti persona. So your pro persona, what we call angels, those are the people that are going to lift your business to new heights. And if you invest in marketing to them, what you've done, if you effectively identify who that person is, if you invest $1 and you're marketing through the right channels with the right message to people, there's enough density that you're going to make a profitable return on what you're doing. Because those customers love you, love what you're offering. They're willing to pay your fees. They pay on time. They tell other people, you get referrals from them. They don't swamp your sales support. That's really the type of individuals that you want. And so it's figuring out who your pro persona is, but almost more importantly, is figuring out who you don't want to sell to. That's a really, really important thing, is understanding I'm not going to market to people who say they want sales training, but don't have a sales force in place, or there's only 2 people, or they're not at the point where they've got a really valuable product or enough offering to be able to go through, or a big enough market that they don't have enough prospects out there. You, Wes, as a person, as you're figuring out your sales training, is figuring out, hey, everybody says they want sales training, but only this group can actually afford it, and they're not going to be a huge pain in my butt. And it's really, that's what's important, is doing your customer research to figure out who the right fit is. Once you've got that in place, you simply talk to those people and you understand their pains. And so what we do is an exercise called the empathy map, where we interview people and we read forums and we look on Facebook posts and tweets and listen to YouTube videos and look on Quora to understand all the questions that people are asking, to get an idea. We get in their head and we understand what's their hell, where are they at, what do they hate, what's really causing them pain, or I hate the phrase what's keeping them up at night, but it's kind of that piece of figuring out what's wrong. And then we figure out what their heaven is, where do they want to be. And if your product is the right thing that can help them get there, you figure out your messaging from that particular exercise that we do. My favorite thing is when we put together great paid ads where we've done our research. On Facebook in particular, when people comment on your ad, they'll say something like, it's like you read my mind. And that's how you know you have the right product and you've done enough research. It's not usually the fact that you're not putting together a good message. It's the fact that you haven't researched enough.
Right. And that can be tough for you, right? I mean, as a consultant, you understand the pay-per-click, but how often are you getting involved in their landing pages? Because it's one thing to get people to click. It's another thing to get them to engage on that page, right? So do you have to do double duty sometimes?
So when I started in this business, I used to do double duty. I've gotten to the point now that I focus so much on paid traffic, just the actual distribution. There's clients who understand how to sell something. They just need someone, basically all I do for consulting now is YouTube advertising. It's a very small world that not a lot of people are good at. And so that's kind of where I spend my time. But that's the most important thing, is figuring out how to put something together that people want. An offer is not your product. An offer is the way you talk to people. It includes your product, and it's also the deal. So whenever you see someone that, oftentimes when we're looking to buy a new car, we already have an idea of the type of car we want to buy. We're waiting for the right terms, right? 0% APR, 90 days, no payments, whatever those things are. The way that you're communicating what it is that you do to your prospects, of where they're at in the process, the product you're selling, and the terms of your deal, that's what constitutes an offer. And so it's really important to have all three of those things in place. It's really, I just read a case study. There's a guy from the company called Wicked Reports. It's a reporting tool.
Sure.
But he sells lobsters. He sells lobsters in Maine. And he just does a really great job. He's a gregarious type of individual. People love him, love to listen to him. He's kind of just this jolly guy. And he put together an offer. Buy 6 lobsters, get 6 free. People want lobster. It's a great product. He's an enjoyable person, and he's given terms that people are interested in. He makes a ton of money. And so it's really cool to see when you've got something that it doesn't have to be this revolutionary new piece. It just has to be people want to feel understood. They buy when people understand them, and it's a great deal. That's really the biggest components here. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of how I think about this.
So what you're saying is I have to give away lobsters with my sales training.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I'm good. I'm good with that. And I know that guy, so I'm going to order some lobsters. Maybe I'll work a deal with him.
Yep. Just give away lobsters with your sales training. It'll be good.
So I saw, and I'm from Louisiana, man. I prefer crawfish, but that's me. But anyway.
But there you go. To give you, I know it's a joke, but as an example, if you're selling sales training to someone in Louisiana versus someone in Maine, including a different type of crawfish versus lobster, that's tailoring to your market.
Damn Skippy, baby. We're going to have Jack's Pearl beer and Tabasco and
some Old Bay seasoning and off the races, right?
Les Bon Roulé. Go Tigers. All right, but I digress. Talking about football again. But all right. So, all right. So I just saw this thing. Actually, I think Justin sent it out. That's where I saw it. Was YouTube is doing they'll come to you and produce a 30-second commercial as long as you commit to spending $350 in ads, right? Was that Justin that sent that out?
That was me.
That was you. Okay.
Yes, but for those who don't know, Justin is my business partner, Justin Brook, the Traffic Guy Millionaires Trust, brilliant paid traffic guy. So I guess we need to do that, huh? Yeah, so that's one of my favorite things, especially when it comes to YouTube advertising, the ability, the biggest hurdle for people is putting together good video content. And so what YouTube has done, they saw that was the big, hurdle keeping people from leaping into YouTube advertising. So if you commit to spend $350 on YouTube, that's not a ton of money in the big scheme of things. They will have a professional filmmaker come out, help you build a script, and shoot a professional commercial that's 30 seconds long. To me, that's just an absolutely incredible offering. I actually have a resource that I'll share with you that lays out what our 30-second ad script would be.
Okay.
I went through and built one. So that way, people, if they want some framework around how can I use this to sell what we're doing? Right. And that's what's really important is it's easy to, shooting a good video. There's a lot of filmmakers that can make a good video, but they can't make a good ad where there's an offer and something going. And so that's what's really important is to think about how can I construct an offer that fits onto YouTube's platform? There's an ability to skip after 5 seconds, which if someone skips, that's fine. You don't pay for it, but you want to be able to get your hook in there for those people in the first 5 seconds that are in the right audience for you. So if it's someone that wants sales training and likes crawfish, you could call that out. Like crawfish and making sales? Listen to this. And so it's just putting together that right script that goes through and gives the right offer to get people to your site. I think that the YouTube's offering that is an absolutely incredible thing, and I'm really excited to make sure that more people take that up.
So what would be an example of a YouTube budget? Like I said, I'm playing around with Dennis's recommendation, it's $1 a day. Okay, I'm really in control of this. Well, so I can boost as many as 10 posts, at that rate, and have them multiple ones going simultaneously before I would spend $350 in a month. Is YouTube priced similarly? Is it more expensive? Do they charge like by the second? So if they go 5 seconds, am I charged the whole thing, or am I charged a little bit more if they watch 20 seconds, watch 30 seconds?
So YouTube is priced differently than Facebook. Facebook charges you at 3 seconds or 10 seconds. That's why you typically see pretty cheap cost reviews. YouTube charges you at 30 seconds. So if you get one of these on-site ads, if someone watches the entire ad, that's the only time you're going to be charged. And typically a cost per view is in the range of 3 to 7 cents. So, for $350, that's going to be a lot of views. So where you could start.
YouTube only charges for 30. So if I have a 30-second ad and somebody stops watching at 28 seconds, I'm not charged?
Correct.
Wow.
They have to click the skip button, but you're not charged if they skip your ad.
Wow. But realistically, if I had a 30-second ad and they watch 28 seconds, they probably got the gist of the ad.
Yep. And so it's an incredible tool. It's the ability to get your message across is just absolutely amazing. And it's something that I would absolutely recommend to everyone to at least go look at that program. You can do something as simple as, Wes, for your podcast, you could get people who come to this page on your website and remarket to them and say, hey, got a great new podcast opportunity coming up. If you want to see the video from my podcast, click here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can put together an ad that's that simple, run it for $3 a day. We spend about $3 a day for ad skills with our YouTube channel. And we really haven't, I put together a single video that took me about 3 minutes to shoot. I put together a list of all the tutorials I was going to build and just told people, if the reason you're seeing this ad is because you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe so you can get access to all these tutorials. And so, we've built a channel from 500 to over 1,100 subscribers right now by doing a little bit of promotion through emails and then having a couple dollars a day spent on YouTube, which will turn into a bigger and bigger asset the longer we do this.
Right. Well, all right. That brings up the next thing, though. Everything is connected, right? I got to have a good ad. Then I have to have people watch it. Then I have to get them to subscribe. But I don't make money on subscriptions. Then I've got to retarget them. Then I've got to have another ad that is being shown when they get retargeted. And that ad takes them to a landing page or a blog post. And that blog post has to have some type of offer, probably get them to opt in for an email of some sort. So now I can proactively reach out to them before I ever make a nickel. How the hell can we manage that?
So that's the biggest thing, is the overwhelm that comes with paid traffic. We really work to manage that, because if you're overwhelmed, you're never going to get to the point of confidence, which means you're never going to get to the point of cash flow. And so where we start is you have to understand where people are losing money. We call that traffic traps. So we have a little mini course that shows people the 7 areas where they waste money with paid traffic. Then we move to customer research. You have to have your customer persona, like we talked about, your persona and your anti-persona. And then finally, you have to get your tracking in place. And tracking is a pretty technical subject. So I worked really, really hard on a course called Tracking 101 Analytics Explained, that I literally talk about like sugar cookies and like froth, like sprinkles that you put on top in order to make it really accessible to people. You have to have those 3 things in place if you actually want to be successful with online marketing in any capacity.
Right.
So once you get those 3 things in place, then you want to start with the easiest thing. So, you talked about retargeting and all those different things to try and get people to buy and do this and do that. The lowest hanging fruit is using a tool like Google AdWords, where people are actively searching for what it is that you sell. That is the easiest place to begin, because there's what we call purchase intent. And so you can go through and set up a campaign that you can do this with YouTube, or you can do it with Google AdWords for people who are actively searching for things, to say, hey, if you're looking for sales training, you might want to watch this video. Very simple and easy, but using what are called keyword phrases. So keywords are what people are typing into Google. They've got the opportunity. They've expressed interest in what you're selling. You can start there and have a very straightforward offer. And if you can get someone to actually take you up on that, you've got a product that people are willing to pay for. You've got an offer that works. Then you can go through and learn all the other complexities of online marketing. But what you need to do right now is put together an offer, and start figuring out if people who are actively searching for it are willing to pay for it. That's the first step. It's the easiest thing to do.
You say it's easy, man. You Notre Dame geniuses. You don't understand us little people, man. There's a lot out there.
There is a lot out there. And that's the thing is I try and when I talk with people, I want to make this like, racing horses are really incredible creatures, but the way that they help control that is they put blinders on them. So all they can see is what's straight in front of them. Right. And so that's what we talk about is let's put your blinders up and let's make it very simple for you to go tackle one thing.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever read the book, The One Thing, but it's amazing if you focus on one thing, how much you can get done. And so a lot of people that I talk to say, well, great, John, I've tried Google AdWords before, and it's because it doesn't work. And so I say, go see point number 1 called traffic traps, because one of the biggest traffic traps when I was working at Google is the way they've got that platform set up. So you type in, I want to advertise on sales training. What you don't understand is the way that the tool is actually set up. If you just typed in on your keyboard sales training, what you're actually going to be advertising on, you could be advertising on dog training New York City based on the way that the tool is set up. And I can tell you right now, I actually have a video I'm putting together with other AdWords experts of us laughing about some of the things that we've seen. I recently had a woman that wanted to be advertising on the term job posting, and she was advertising on another type of job that I can't talk about here, but it was not something that anyone wants to be advertising on when it comes to talking about job posting. And so
how is that? So why would my ad be for dog training? I mean,
because what the way it's set up, it takes the standard keyword. So what you type into it with no special language modifiers, it takes total liberty with your ad budget in saying, well, I've got 2 words here. I've got sales and I've got training. So we're going to use what we call broad match, which gives us basically free reign with what we're going to do with your money. And if it includes the word sales or includes the word training, we're going to post it on absolutely everything. And so that's the thing that I hate to see is people losing money because they didn't invest in a little education to understand where they could go wrong. Because we have, I've helped big companies that spend on AdWords save $20,000 a month just by understanding some very small basics. But right. Those companies can afford that blow. The smallest companies are the ones who can't afford that. And that's what we hate to see. I want to make sure that people understand here's where most people are going wrong. And if you set this stuff up correctly, most of your competitors aren't going to do that. They're going to read a blog post and do the same thing everyone else is doing. Well, we tried on AdWords and it doesn't work. That's not actually how it works. You have to understand where most other people are failing. I call those growth hacking holes. They exist in every single ad network. It's how they hit their quarterly numbers. Right. They put little traps for advertisers to fall into. My friend Mike Rhodes, who literally wrote the book on AdWords, calls it the stupidity tax.
Yep.
It's one of those things. It's like they prey on the little companies. I don't think it's intentional, but it's the little companies are the victims. And that's the last thing I want to see is someone who's got a small ad budget, who doesn't understand paid traffic yet. They need to invest in themselves to get to the level where they are actively leveraging paid traffic to grow their business. And you have to avoid the traffic traps. It's the number one thing you need to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think, and I guess it just depends on the mindset. Maybe Google thinks they're doing you a favor by being broad. If you're a small company, then you're like, yeah, you're not doing me a favor because I need to be narrow. But again, that understanding, that knowledge is key. And I love that racehorse blinder analogy. I mean, everybody dabbles. And, you can't have 10 projects and, get one of them to 10% and then switch to the next, switch to the next, switch to the next, because you can't launch till they're all 100%. Mm-hmm. You got to launch one to 100% and then go to the second, then go to the third. But I don't know. It's not in the normal entrepreneur's mindset, which is why the normal entrepreneur fails.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things, especially if you are not actively having success with what you're offering, the first thing you need to do is not paid traffic. You need to go sell in person. That's why I think listening to you is so valuable, because you talk to people how to sell. you have to understand how to have an offer and talk to people and give them something that they want. You can test with paid traffic. A lot of people do that, but I don't think that works well. I think you need to talk with people and understand their problems and find a way to solve what they're looking for in a way that they are interested in paying for. If you can do that, paid traffic will work if someone wants to buy what you have to sell. So I think that's the first thing, is get something that people actually want, and then you can come tackle all these things.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody, is that you don't have a traffic problem. Traffic is abundant. Most people have a conversion problem. Once you know what's converting, then it's just a math problem.
Yeah, it's true. And it's unfortunate how many success stories there are out there that kind of dilute or infect the water supply, because while those are very successful people, they try and say that they made it easy so they can sell you their stuff. But it wasn't easy. It took time, it took effort, it took thinking. And I think it's that, easy entrepreneurship slogan that we've come up with in this world of everything's easy with your computer and your phone. It's not. It takes time to figure out how to have something that people want to buy. And as you build up the reputation and the proof that people are willing to pay for it and they're happy with their purchases, that's when paid traffic becomes fuel to add to the fire. It's not the fire itself. Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. So your focus is YouTube. Now, your background was Google, but your focus is now YouTube. And for those that don't know, Google bought YouTube, a long time ago, 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was a while ago. It's a huge platform. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the second largest search engine. I know I can't live without that damn thing. I got 7 kids, man. They're all like, how do I fix this? I'm like, I don't know. Let's go to YouTube. So why did you make that shift, though, from good old Google Display Networks and whatnot to narrow the focus on YouTube?
YouTube is one of those platforms that drives incredible results if you know where to look. I call it the 3-card money platform. 3-card money, you see the guys in any of the big cities that have the cardboard box and the 3 cards, and they're trying to, hide the eggshell or the whatever that was underneath that card. And with Facebook, you get click-throughs. You can understand it's a very user-friendly ad platform. And Google AdWords is somewhat similar. We talked about some of the traps there. The problem with YouTube is people are advertising, they expect to see clicks, and you don't actually get clicks. A lot of people search for what you're selling organically. And so a lot of people are saying their ads aren't working, and I just go through and educate. You're looking in the wrong spot. Let's go through and set up an experiment, and I'll actually show you how much traffic YouTube is driving organically. And so that's really that piece of, it's an ad network that's a little harder to understand without the clicks. But when you do, and you can prove to someone that this is making a big difference, it has the ability to, I helped a group 5X their revenues last year from 600,000 or 700,000 to 2.8. It was from 600 to 2.4. So that was 4X. But it was a massive increase in what they were able to accomplish because they finally knew where to look for what was happening with their YouTube advertising. And that's just something that's incredible to me.
So, all right, you lost me a little bit in that. So you're saying it's hard to track what's going on with YouTube?
Yes, YouTube is much more difficult to track because when people see your ad, I'll take a step back here. You said that the way you use YouTube is when someone wants to know how to do something, right?
Right.
You're either on YouTube to be educated, the how-tos, or to be entertained. YouTube was, until recently, the largest music streaming platform. It was bigger than all the other ones combined. There's TV shows, there's motivational videos. People go to YouTube to be entertained or to be educated. So even if you see a great ad, the chances that you click off and go to someone else's site are not high because you came to YouTube for a reason. You were here because you wanted to watch a video, learn how to do something, listen to music. Those are all, that's the reason, the intent, the reason that you're on YouTube. And so what most people do is they'll open up a new tab and they'll search for things. And they can still hear what's going on in the background, but they can kind of multitask. And so that's when you, since you're not getting clicks on your YouTube ads, people are organically searching for you. it doesn't appear in the YouTube bucket. It appears in the organic search bucket. And that's just something a lot of people haven't thought about and figured out how to go through and understand their conversions from YouTube.
So
Was that more clear?
So the visitors to your site, because I've always recommended to people, follow SEO best practices, have a good title, have good tags, use a good description, but even open with your URL. Put that very high up so if they're on a phone or whatever, they can click it and get to your site. But I guess you're saying that's considered an organic click?
So I think we're talking about two different things. You're talking about YouTube optimization, where if someone's watching your video, they can see the description. Right. I'm talking about running an ad where a lot of people are not going to actually click on your ad. They're going to open a new tab and they'll search. Just
type it in. Yeah.
Yep, they would type in Wes, the sales whisperer. And I think that's the big piece of like, okay, now your site pops up organically. They click. And that's how you're going to see the effects of YouTube advertising in a different bucket than where you're looking for it.
Now, wouldn't you sometimes have your URL in your YouTube ad?
You can. And so when we do that, we include our direct traffic in that particular analysis of how much traffic you're currently getting. So we can say, this is what we're going to look for in the level of, we call that an incremental lift. So how much extra traffic you're getting because of that. But that's it's a different discussion. It's just semantics. It's figuring out which buckets are really important. If you're going to include the URL in your ad, you have to include direct traffic in your analysis as well.
Yeah. So as an advertising consultant, how do you help that business owner? Because let's say they're whatever. Let's say they're doing $1 million a month right now. They hire you. They start running ads. All of a sudden, they're doing $1.5 million a month. And I guess if that's the only thing they're doing, they can say, "All right, this traffic is from working with John." But like you're saying, though, if I just open a new tab and go to your site, go to your client's site, how can a YouTube advertising consultant prove that it was their efforts and consulting that moved the needle?
So what we do is we put together what I call an isolation experiment. So here's where you're currently at. This is your typical baseline, whatever that's the amount of traffic and the amount of revenue you're doing on a daily basis. We're going to go through and put together an ad campaign on YouTube, and we're going to show that what we're doing, we're going to run it over a 3-day period. And we're going to spend, let's say you had $1,000 to spend. I'm going to force that budget into a time frame. It may be really short. It may be 2 hours. If we need to really show a huge increase in traffic, that we're going to go through and say, we're going to cause an increase in the organic traffic to your business, and therefore as well your conversions, your revenue, your transactions, all of those things. We're going to force it into this window. And if people come and they are converting, we know your offer works. And obviously we got the YouTube traffic to push people to your site. And so we just go through and set up little instances like that, or something that SodaStream did way back in the day when YouTube advertising was fairly new. They set up an entirely new brand. It was called Heavy Bubbles. So they got the guy that plays the Mountain in Game of Thrones, is actually the world's strongest man, to come up with a fake soda line, like soda water, in these gigantic dumbbells. And they advertised it on YouTube, and people searched for Heavy Bubbles. And they were able to figure out how much it cost someone to get to their site from YouTube advertising. And so they were able to now roll that in with their massive marketing mix. They invested in YouTube, and they had an understanding of how much it would cost to get someone to their site and what their conversion metrics were. And so those are the things of whenever you're kind of operating in uncertainty, you just have to put some parameters in so people really understand. I'm setting myself up for success. And that's why a lot of people don't consult with YouTube, is they don't know how to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. And not everybody can do that, but can a small business use just a free tool like their Google Analytics to measure down to a 2-hour block for traffic?
Absolutely. That's all. I just use Google Analytics. Google Analytics is an incredible tool. It's something that's simple, but once again, most people haven't set it up. That's why I talk about tracking 101. It's so important. Is most people use their Google Analytics. They look at it once a month, and they look at the bounce rate and the average session duration, that's all they know how to do with it.
Right.
And so understanding how to track things in your business that are actually important, book calls, clicks to your podcast, whatever is important to your business to helping you make revenue, you need to be tracking those things. And Google Analytics makes that possible.
Oh, dude, once a month, that's way too often. I think quarterly is probably all anybody really needs.
It's incredible when I hear people are like, yeah, we check it once every 6 months. I'm like, I look at Google Analytics about 12 times a day.
I know. Just in the last week, man, I'm doing more, like I said, just with Facebook and just taking it over from this guy and I got a tab open right here, and I'm like, I can see my business. I'm like scrolling down. Oh, there's a good post, man. I go find that post. It actually gives me an idea to update a little bit. Boom, go back, promote it. Like, let's see what happens. It is fun when you know what the heck's going on.
And that's the biggest thing is you have to get to a level of confidence. What I love the stage that you're at right now is you're building confidence because you can actually see what's making a difference. Once you get to that confidence where you say, great, I know that this is leading to me getting new prospects, or I actually closed a deal from this Facebook post.
Right.
That's when this goes from 1 to 100. You're going to be like, I want to put as much as I can behind paid traffic. I want to understand this because it's actually producing results for me and growing my business. And that's when things get really fun.
Yeah. And, I've always told business owners, your number one job is to market your business, period. It's not to hire all this out. Yes, this does get complicated. Yes, you probably need some help. But you need to be conversant in it. You need to understand every step, obviously not to the degree of the experts, but if you don't, you're going to get the wool pulled over your eyes. You're going to overspend, and I built my business 99% organically, and organic is still fine. But for me to hit the next level, I've got to master paid traffic. And my goal this year, I've talked about it before, is, I'm producing less content. I'm actually going back and consolidating, thin posts. I took one on social media. I combined 10 or 12 blog posts into one. And it's a much better article. It's performing much better. And I've just seen that from an organic standpoint. That's what works. It's been proven that what works. And now I can drive paid traffic to a better article. And just, like you said, it's not the fire, or what did you say? It's not the fuel, it's the fire. I don't know. You lost.
It's not the fire. It's the fuel. Paid traffic is fuel. Yeah.
I'm ramping it up with paid. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot of money, but there is the stupid tax. There's lost opportunities for not getting this right or not even starting it. And then there's a stupid tax of if you hire the wrong people and trust them, trust but verify, huh?
Absolutely. And I think that's the biggest thing at the end of the day. Like if there's a sound bite that you can grab and put at the beginning of this, is that paid traffic doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you need someone that you can trust for education. And if you want to make it ad skills, we'd love to have you. I don't care who you go to. You just need someone who knows their stuff. If you can talk to someone who actually knows what they're doing, it's going to help you, avoid the mistakes other people make. And whether you're going to actually implement it yourself or you're going to hire somebody else to do it, you are armed and dangerous that you've got, hey, I've got my blinders on. I know what I need to be focusing on at this point in time. I haven't figured out my customer persona. That's what I need to focus on. Okay, I did that. Now I need to get my tracking in place. Okay, now I did that. Now I need to go through and start advertising on AdWords for people who are actively looking for what I'm selling. Okay, I did that. Maybe it's retargeting. Maybe it's Facebook ads. What's next? But you need to have those blinders on, know what you want to go after. If you want to do it yourself, we've got the tools to help you with that. And if you want to hire somebody to do it, we are building an army of people that are good at this stuff. And as far as our business growth, we're not there yet where we've got 5,000 people that are ready to come in and help you tackle this. But we've got a pretty good amount of people that we've proven that get good results for their customers. That's what we care about. All we're trying to do is make sure that, what Justin and I talk about is we don't measure our success by the amount of money that we make. We measure our success by the amount of money that you make. And if you're making money and you've got confidence in cash flow, our business is going to keep doing really well. And so that's what's most important to us. So start with putting your blinders on, building your confidence in your cash flow, and really just focus on one thing at a time. I understand that paid traffic is overwhelming. You have to know who you're selling to. You have to be able to track what you're doing. That's the most important things in marketing. Once you can get those things in place, then you can start to tackle paid traffic one piece at a time.
Well, I mean, I'm selling the left-handed powerlifting nuns. So can you help me? Can you help me find them?
Absolutely. We'll work on that one.
Craziness. All right. And as usual, I've got links to everything. If y'all have been to the website anytime in the last couple of months, you'll see the right-hand side on my website, the Ultimate Guide to Ad Skills. I mean, I'm a big fan of Justin and John. These guys are legit. I've known Justin for years. I met John earlier this year at a conference in San Diego. So, learn it. Dive in. You've got a couple of courses that are just name your own price, right?
Yep. Traffic Traps, Customer Research, and Tracking 101. You can pay whatever you want for them. Yep. Those 3 courses are the collaboration of 17 years and $20 million in ad spend between Justin and I. And we said, let's take the best stuff that we've got and, give it away. People can pay whatever they want for it. Because if we help them start down the path, we just want to show people that we can help you be successful. Right. After that, if you like working with us, we've got a lot of other stuff to offer.
Well, and even most of your courses, I mean, I was expecting them to be $500, $1,000. I mean, you've got some higher end courses. You got courses for $99, $199. I mean, that you're not trying to rip people off. So, I appreciate that.
Yeah, my favorite thing to hear is we actually got a testimonial last week. The guy says he just got more out of our course that cost 10 times less than the one that he bought. And he said he spent $32,000 in online courses and wish he'd given us every cent. And it was one of those that's the biggest, being the teacher, I'm the guy that teaches everything. So if you take a course, I'm the guy sitting in front of the camera and under the microphone. That's what I care about, is you feeling like you got something that we talk about value equilibrium. If what we're producing for you is higher value than what you're paying us, that's what's important here. And so that's what we work for every single day. We'd love if you check this out. We know that this stuff's not easy, and we'd love to help you.
Yep. Amen. Well, John Belcher, even though you're one of them fighting Irish, man, you're all right. I don't care what they say about you.
I appreciate it. It's I have to look for that validation every day. It's the life of a Notre Dame guy is definitely depressing sometimes.
I've got some friends here in Southern Cal. They are huge fans. He goes up to just about every Notre Dame home football game, and he goes up for a lot of basketball games. And dude, it ain't easy. We're in Murrieta, right? You got to drive an hour to get to San Diego just to fly up and then drive. I mean, and so they asked me to go, so I'm going to go. I was going to take my brother-in-law last year, and he wimped out. So then I wimped out because he's a big, big fan. And but yeah, I got to make it up there. I've never been up there.
Yeah, let me know when you're in town. I'll meet you. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, I do want to get up there, so that'll be fun. Well, John Belcher, thanks for coming on the Sales Podcast, man. It's been awesome.
Thanks for having me, Wes. Talk soon.
I hope you got a lot out of that. What you do not realize is that this was the second time I got to interview John. First time, his audio was a little too low and we couldn't clean it up. So I got to pick his brain twice, and we went even deeper. So I added to the notes. So be sure and check out the show notes on his episode. I am linking as well to everything that we talked about. And some of the things aren't on this recording. Talked about Eugene Schwartz and breakthrough advertising, the marketer's guide to finding customers online. Of course, I linked to the traffic traps, which he mentioned, the one thing that he talked about. Tracking 101, we got into more on this first time around, but that is the analytics explained. So, be sure to check out everything they've got going on. I am an affiliate of theirs. If you visit the website, click on either his episode, see the links towards the bottom for Traffic 101 and Traffic Traps, or on the right-hand side, you'll see the Ultimate Guide. If you click those, I'm an affiliate. They pay me a little bit, and it doesn't cost you any extra, so it's a way to help keep the podcast going. Let me know that you're out there and appreciate it. But these really are good guys. I had Justin on several years ago. I need to have him back on You need to follow him online as well, especially through Facebook and the email newsletter that we mentioned. These guys just give a lot of gold. And I'm doing a lot more with paid traffic, and we'll continue ramping that up through 2018, and we'll maintain that for the foreseeable future. You just got to get it done. On this episode as well, in the show notes, I'll link over to Perry Marshall. Had him on the show not too long ago. He's the author of Google AdWords Explained, the Definitive Guide to Google AdWords, and they've now connected with Entrepreneur Press. So he's done some big things. You know, you have to learn paid traffic. The good old days of organic have changed. The marketplace has changed. I'm doing more with video as well. I'm actually looking at how to rearrange my own home office, get a green screen up behind me to change up some of the graphics and how these look. The marketplace has changed, so you have to change with it. Okay? It's how it is. So be sure and check those guys out. If you need additional help, check out my inner circle. Go to thesaleswhisperer.com. On the products tab, click on the inner circle. That's where you can hang out with me for a year, pick my brain. Just before I hit record on this outro section of the interview, you know, I'm answering questions from a longtime client. And he joined years ago when I first was experimenting with a membership site and learning Customer Hub through Infusionsoft. I created the 30-day sales growth for $97. Then I grandfathered everyone in. So as I evolved the program, I let everybody stay. So if you want to get in, and it's a lot more than $97, but you still get access to me, live weekly calls, daily interaction. If you ask a question, I'll answer it. And so I don't know anybody else that's been in business this long that gives you themselves live, interactive, and recorded sessions every week, and is accessible online in the private group almost on an hourly basis. Obviously, I got to sleep sometimes. I do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu for 3 hours at a time. So, you know, not always 1 hour, but I am quite accessible. So I'd be honored to have you there. Join us in the inner circle. I'll go sell something.